Most of you are likely aware that Reading's fairgrounds were once located in Muhlenberg Township, on the site of the former Fairgrounds Square Mall, which is obviously how it got its name. But before that site was settled on in 1915, did you know that the fairgrounds was supposed to be built in West Wyomissing? The earliest years of the Reading Fair were held at City Park and then a plot on North 11th Street. During the early 1910s, the Berks County Agricultural Society was tired of leasing the lot on North 11th and wanted a more permanent location that they could call their own. On April 3rd, 1914, it was announced in the Reading Times that they had narrowed it down to 3 locations: West Wyomissing, Muhlenberg Township, and purchasing the tract at North 11th Street. There was some opposition to the prospective West Wyomissing Fairgrounds location. An April 6, 1914 Reading Times opinion piece titled "Horsemen Opposed to Fairgrounds Site at Wyomissing" explained that the horsemen were considering breaking away from the Agricultural Society to build a track in Millmont should the purchase go through. The article was vague and signed simply "Horsemen." Despite this opposition, it was reported on April 7th that an engineer was scheduled to survey the site for the construction of a racetrack. The subdivision plan for West Wyomissing had been laid out in 1913 by the Klein brothers, who had purchased what was, at that time, sprawling farmland. The vast majority of homes in what is now suburban West Wyomissing were not built until the 1930s through the post-war era, so at this time it was largely undeveloped. It is hard to know exactly where this prospective fairgrounds would have sat, but one of the requirements was that the fairgrounds be accessible by rail, so the property likely would have butted up on the P&R's Lebanon Valley line. It is likely that the fairgrounds stop would have been in the vicinity of the old Iron Bridge, with the grounds spanning the area east of West Wyomissing Boulevard. By April 6, 1914, the Reading Times announced that the 40-acre West Wyomissing plot had been chosen, and by the 9th that the contract had been signed. However, I have been able to find no record of a deed transfer ever happening. Interestingly, the original subdivision plan indicated that the planning was created in 1913 and altered in April of 1914. The same month that the fairgrounds purchase supposedly went through. Clearly the deal fell through, but there was no mention of exactly why. Around the same time that this all transpired in April of 1914, the Fair Company organized, officially breaking away from the Agricultural Society. Only a year later, in July of 1915, they purchased the 56 acres that the fair was built on in Muhlenberg Township. But can you imagine if it had worked out in West Wyomissing?